Okay, folks, been a while since I've done one of these unboxing videos, and as you can tell, I've gotten fat, but the box is still pretty slim. I don't get that much in the way of comic books these days, and what I do get is largely reprints or some recently released stuff that's in trade paperback form, and I've got one of each of those today. So, what do I have in the bag today? Well, yes, it looks like it's going to be another one of those great Marvel Epic Collections. This is Epic Collection number 9. And it's Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man or Spider-Clone. That's right, this is the famous Clone Saga, the original Clone Saga, not the Ben Reilly mess they came back with later, which although that was actually pretty good at the time. I have a kind of fondness for the Clone Saga, except for the fact that the moment that people rose up against the idea of Peter Parker having been the clone all these years instead of being the real Spider-Man, people just freaked out, and Marvel was like, well, I guess we're not going to do that. Let's just reverse that out right away. And that was really pretty sad because they really set the stage for a new generation of Spider-Man readers where you had this Ben Reilly character posing as Peter Parker's cousin, and he was going to be Spider-Man from then on, and you had Harry Osborn in the mix, and you had a coffee shop where Peter worked as kind of the hub of his area, and then he had the little supporting cast that was all new pretty much around him. And they just went back on it pretty much right away. I think by what was it, Spectacular Spider-Man number 3, they were already undoing everything that they had established. And so, oh well, Ben Reilly, we hardly knew you. Although later they'd bring him back in other ways, making him the Scarlet Spider or other kind of stuff. But I wanted to go back to the original material, and this may be the last Epic Collection that I get for Amazing Spider-Man. I'm going to have to read 1 through 9 all together and see if I can stop there, because, I don't recall ever getting up to, say, Amazing Spider-Man number 200, and this is already up to 164. It's just going to depend. I've read so little of the material that came after this, and my own personal collection of Spider-Man comics, like original Spider-Man comics, starts at about 240, which is when he had already fallen for the Black Cat and she had been introduced and all that, and they were in a relationship. And then Spectacular Spider-Man 75, he was fighting Doc Octopus to save her life, and that's pretty much where my collection of my own personal collection, where I started really collecting Spider-Man, took off. And I have kind of a straight run up through the Eric Larson years, where that was up through issue number 350, and that's when I finally cut the cord. So this is a welcome addition. I love the Marvel Epic Collections, and you probably should look at picking this one up, especially if you've never read the original Clone Saga. It's a doozy. And then on the newer side, we have Mark Millar and who is this? Who is the artist? Well, this for frack's sake. But of course, they put the label right in the name of the artist, so I can't tell who the hell it is. Alright, this is Mark Millar and Jorge Jimenez, and it is Nemesis Reloaded. Now, Mark Millar's Nemesis is kind of a favorite book of mine, except I can never remember what happens in it. And I kind of love those kinds of books. I love the books where you can go back to them again and again and again, and you don't really remember what happened. You just remember you had a really good experience. So it's not necessarily memorable to the point where, you know every nook and cranny of that, but you still had a good time reading it, and you're going to have a good time reading it again. So I was very pleased to see that Mark Millar made a sequel to Nemesis, and Nemesis kind of based on the idea of what if Batman was evil. Basically, this guy is like he could have been a caped crusader. Instead, he's a villain. So I liked it, and I hope I'll like this. This leads into his multi-universe crossover Big Game, if I'm not mistaken, and that's out on the racks now. So if you enjoyed Nemesis, or if you haven't gone back and taken a look at Nemesis, I strongly urge you to, because that was a fun read, as I recall, and I expect this one will be too. So that is my unboxing video for today. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I am not a bigger, fatter slug by the next time you see another video. I'm Mike Bartica. Please do subscribe if you get a chance, and I will talk to you later.